Hello, 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 YouTube world. It's Miss Patty with For Your CNA, and we are here for our live CNA practice test game show where you compete for prizes by answering very real world test like questions. So, welcome. When you guys come in, if you can give me a quick hi in the chat, let me know that you're here, and we'll get started in just a few minutes. So, let me know that you're in. Hi, Michelle. How are you? All right. Good morning, guys. Everybody's trickling in. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that all my tech is working. On my screen, it looks like it's working. Hi, Kristen. Just let me know if we are streaming well. And good morning. Hi, Christina. Okay. All right. So let's get into, let me know, you guys, let me know, those of you that are just joining us, let me know if you can hear me. Okay. Oh, thank you, Blue. You are awesome. Blue is my unofficial assistant. All right. So today's topic is going to be on a topic that's very near and dear to my heart, and that is the changes of aging. We're also going to introduce some psychosocial questions as well, because that kind of leads into it. And I'm actually working on some lessons right now for the home health aid course that I'm building. And this is the topic that I was just creating a lesson for. And yes, Blue, it is very tough to watch somebody go through this. And as I was creating this lesson, these questions kept, or these topics kept coming up, and I was thinking that this was a really good topic to focus on for today's game show. So age-related changes, there's three main changes that occur. Of course, there's physical that we see. And this is what we are most comfortable with, most aware of, right? You can see the wrinkles, you can see the gray hair, you can see the slowing down, you can see the lack of coordination and the balance impairment. You can see that they get tired much easily. So these physical changes of aging are things that we are very aware of because we can see them. What's not quite so visible are the cognitive changes of aging, because aging does affect our brain just like it affects our body. And you can have some cognitive effects. Now, this gets really confusing for caregivers because what's normal and what do I need to report? So we're going to talk about that as we get into these questions, okay? Now, there's also psychosocial changes that occur during aging. And hi guys. So some of these psychosocial changes. Now, psychosocial means relationships, how we deal with one another, recreation, things that kind of keep our social circle or social well-being in adequate shape, right? Because all of this really is what makes you, right? The way you think, the way you look, and the things that you surround yourself with, your interests, your hobbies, your relationships. That's really kind of what makes you you. And in healthcare, we tend to focus just on the physical. That's all we really care about is just the physical, but that's not the whole person, right? So if we're going to be caring for patients, especially in residential facilities, so think assisted living, nursing homes, home care, if this is where they live, then that physical is important, absolutely. That's why they're there. If they didn't have the physical problems, they would be at home taking care of themselves. So yeah, that physical is important, but now we really have to take into account the cognitive and the psychosocial as well, because this is where they live, which means that these needs are not going to get met by somebody else. We're it, right? So we really have to focus on not just the physical changes of aging, but also what's normal from a thinking standpoint and from a relationship and entertainment or diversionary standpoint too. Okay. So, oh, thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Oh, Florida, hi. Sometimes in home care, just putting the client in the car and driving them to the beach, eating a fast food sandwich, and home makes a huge difference. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that really quick. I'm going to give you a personal story, okay, and then we'll get into this. So, a personal story here. A couple of months ago, my aunt, she's the last living aunt that I have, was it, she went into an assisted living facility because she kept falling at home. She lived alone. She just couldn't meet her own needs. So she went into an assisted living facility. It was a huge change for her. She really struggled really bad with all of the changes that come with that. And she would call my mom and they would talk, and my mom just felt really horrible. So I made arrangements and drove my mom up to, it's about a 6-hour drive, drove her there, stayed with her for a couple days, and really kind of gave my aunt that family support that she needed as she made this transition. But one of the things that she mentioned while she was there, or while we were there, was that she didn't think she'd ever make it to the beach again because she didn't drive. It was, about an hour away. And we had an afternoon free. I said, okay, let's get in the car. Let's go to the beach. Now, she's on a walker. She does not walk very well. Has definite physical deficiencies and stamina. So my mom and I, we got her in the car, the walker, drove to the beach, got out. I was able to find a parking spot relatively close. Thank God for that. We circled for a while before we found the right parking spot. But we actually got her onto the beach, all the way up to the water. We actually walked through that whole sandy area to get to the water. I helped her take her shoes off, and she was able to put her feet in the ocean. And that made such a huge difference in her ability to acclimate to this new setting, just because she felt that her needs were being met. So, yes, absolutely, Blue, that can make a huge difference. All right, so now that we know the types of questions that we're going to have, we're also going to award prizes. So we give out prizes to the top 3 people. So first place prize is going to be a T-shirt, and you've got a couple to choose from. So kind of take a look at this and think about which T-shirt you might want if you come in first. We have CNA Care Crew. We have our cheat shirt, which is our what we call our CNA class shirt. Inside all of those letters are all of my principles that I talk about in class. So that one, that's your class shirt. We have Become Inspire Care. We have Call to Care, which I'm wearing today, and the CNA Care Crew. So you can choose which one of those T-shirts that you want if you come in first. So here's how we play. I'm going to give you 15 test-like questions, and they're multiple choice just like they are on the state exam. They're written very similar to questions you're going to see on the state exam. Nobody can give you the actual test questions that's test integrity. So nobody can give you the actual test questions, but we can give you questions that are very similar in scope, content, and presentation to what you're going to see on the state exam. And that's what we're going to go over today, specific to those changes of aging and the psychosocial needs. So I'm going to read the question to you. I'll read the answer choices, and in the chat, you are going to put the answer that you think is right, but you're going to use numbers. So if you think answer 1 is right, you're going to put 1 in the chat and hit send. Don't put anything else. Just put a single number in the chat. If you put anything else, it's not going to read it. It's only going to read your first response. So if you change your mind, it's not going to count. Fastest correct answer gets the most points. So speed does count here. So fastest correct answer gets the most points. I'm going to read the question and the answer choices. You're going to indicate 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the chat. Fastest answer gets the most points. Now, at the end, the program that I use sits on top of YouTube. Please remember that it reads the answers in the order they're received at YouTube, not the order that you see on your screen. Those are different. So this program receives the answers in the order they're received on YouTube and awards points. At the end, the person with the most points is going to get the prizes. Now, I only ship prizes in the United States. I'm not set up for international shipping. So you guys are welcome to participate. Just remember that I can't ship a prize to you internationally. All right. So, are we ready? Are we ready? All right, we're going to start in 30 seconds. No, unfortunately, Miles, I do not. I can't ship internationally, but you are welcome to still play. A real quick plug, and I'm going to talk about this after the game show. I am currently working on all of the practice tests on our 4-year CNA site. We're going to have over 1,000 practice questions up there by the end of the year, just for you, for free. Here we go. Question 1. Which of the following is a normal age-related change in the musculoskeletal system? 1. Decreased risk of fractures. 2. Loss of muscle mass. 3. Improved balance and coordination. Or 4. Increased joint flexibility. So which of the following is a normal age-related change in the musculoskeletal system? 1. Decreased risk of fractures. 2. Loss of muscle mass. 3. Improved balance and coordination. Or 4. Increased joint flexibility. Go ahead and lock in your final answer. You have about 10 seconds left. Go ahead and lock in your answers. Loss of muscle mass. Yeah, all of you guys got this one right. This was an easy one, I know. I'm going to start you off a little bit easy. As we age, our muscles tend to get a little bit weaker. The mass decreases. That's going to affect your balance and coordination, your stamina. It's going to affect a lot of things. But this is a normal change of aging. But it's gradual, and that's the important thing to remember. It's gradual. If you have somebody who was fine yesterday and today their legs can't support them, that is not a normal change of aging, because normal changes are gradual, not sudden. Good job, guys. All right, Ash came in first, followed by Kia, Maddie, Ava, and Shelby. Great job. Great job. All right, question 2. What is one of the most important psychosocial needs of residents in long-term care? 1. A sense of purpose and belonging. 2. Daily religious services. 3. Forming friendships with peers. Or 4. A sense of career fulfillment. What is one of the most important psychosocial needs of residents in long-term care? 1. A sense of purpose and belonging. 2. Daily religious services. 3. Forming friendships with peers. Or 4. A sense of career fulfillment. Go ahead and lock in your final answer. What do you guys think? Got about 5 seconds left. The right answer here is number 1. Yeah, a sense of purpose and belonging. And this is why it's so important that we don't just park people in wheelchairs in the hallways and leave them there for hours and hours and hours, because that doesn't do anything for their psychosocial well-being. And we have to understand that that's an important part of caring for a patient, especially in long-term care. So, daily religious services, this might be important to some people. Weekly might be important to some people, but it is not the most important psychosocial need. Forming friendships with peers, that's actually the most important psychosocial need of adolescents and young adults, not older adults. And a sense of career fulfillment does not qualify here. Russ came in first, followed by Ash, Kia, Ava, Ava, and Shelby. Good job. Question 3. What is a common sensory change that occurs with aging? 1. Enhanced taste perception. 2. A stronger sense of smell. 3. Reduced visual acuity. Or 4. Increased hearing ability. So what is a common sensory change that occurs with aging? 1. Enhanced taste perception. 2. Stronger sense of smell. 3. Reduced visual acuity. Or 4. Increased hearing ability. What do we think is a normal, common sensory change that occurs with aging? You've got about 10 seconds left. Go ahead and lock in your final answer. And the right answer here is number 3, reduced visual acuity. Sure, all of our senses actually are going to have reduced abilities as we age. So your sense of smell actually gets reduced. Your sense of taste, your hearing, and your vision can all be affected by aging. And this is just because of the aging neural pathways. The signals just cannot get through, or the actual cells that the sensory cells aren't working very well. So this is very, very common as we age, and it can affect your patient's appetite in a really big way. So good job. Question number Russ came in first, followed by Claw, Ash, Maddie, and Miles. Good job, guys. Question number 4. What happens to the skin as people age? 1. Skin becomes thinner and more fragile. 2. Skin becomes thicker and oilier. 3. Sweat glands become more active. Or 4. Skin heals more quickly. What do you guys think? What happens to the skin as people age? 1. Skin becomes thinner and more fragile. 2. Skin becomes thicker and oilier. 3. Sweat glands become more active. Or 4. Skin heals more quickly. What do you guys think? Go ahead and lock in your final answers. You've got about 15 seconds left, and I'll tell you what the right answer is. Go ahead and lock in your final answers. The right answer here is number 1. Skin becomes thinner and more fragile, and skin tears become increasingly common. So we really have to be very gentle with our patients, take extra care. Skin generally doesn't become thicker or oilier. Our sweat glands tend to decrease production instead of increase, and skin heals a little slower rather than quicker. Now, this is important though, because if you have somebody whose sweat glands are decreasing, sweat is what keeps us cool as we, start to overheat. So these patients are actually at risk of hyperthermia outside because their body may not be able to cool itself. So Ash came in first, followed by Russ, Claw, Maddie, and Miles. Good job. All right, question number 5. Residents with dementia may become agitated when 1. They are confused or overwhelmed. 2. A care routine is adhered to. 3. They are talked to like adults. Or 4. All of their physical needs are met. So residents with dementia may become agitated when 1. They are confused or overwhelmed. 2. A care routine is adhered to. 3. They are talked to like adults. Or 4. all of their physical needs are met? Go ahead and lock in your final answer. You've got about 20 seconds left. This is probably one of the most important topics to understand when working with dementia patients. All right, about 5 seconds and we'll go over the answer. The right answer here is number 1. Yeah, you guys all got this one right. Dementia patients often become agitated if they're confused or overwhelmed, and routine is the key to success. If lunch is always at 12, lunch needs to be at 12. Caregivers need to be consistent. Throwing a new caregiver into the mix can overwhelm your patient with dementia. So consistency is key when we're working with dementia patients. I cannot overstress this enough because any change requires a coping mechanism, and coping mechanisms are one of the first things that go with dementia. So we definitely want to talk to patients like adults, not children, and we definitely want to meet all of their physical needs. So Russ came in first, followed by Claw, Shelby, Ash, and Ava. Good job. All right, question number 6. Which situation may threaten a resident's self-esteem? 1, participating in group activities. 2, wearing their own clothing. 3, being asked about their preferences. Or 4, being ignored during care. So which situation may threaten a resident's self-esteem? 1, participating in group activities. 2, wearing their own clothing. 3, being asked about their preferences. Or 4, being ignored during care. This one's pretty easy, I know, but there's a reason for this question. Go ahead and lock in your final answer. You've got about 10 seconds left. Go ahead and lock in those final answers. The right answer here is, yeah, you guys got this one right, number 4, being ignored during care. Now, I know the other 3 answers were kind of silly. Nobody, everybody knows that, participating in group activities is good for psychosocial, wearing their own clothing, being asked about their preferences. Those are things we're going to do. But a question I get asked a lot when I'm teaching is, do I really have to talk to the patient that much? Do I have to say everything you say when I'm performing care? And the answer is yes. Because when you ignore the patient, when you aren't talking to them, when you are treating them like a lump of flesh laying there, that actually threatens their self-esteem. And that can come out in outbursts and frustration and refusal and all of those negative behaviors. So Ash came in first, followed by Shelby, Ava, Miles, and Maddie. All right, number 7. Which digestive change is often seen in elderly residents? 1, increased production of saliva. 2, faster gastric emptying. 3, more efficient nutrient absorption. And 4, slower peristalsis. So, which digestive change is often seen in elderly residents? 1, increased production of saliva. 2, faster gastric emptying. 3, more efficient nutrient absorption. And 4, slower peristalsis. Go ahead and lock in your final answer. You've got about 10 seconds left. The right answer here is number 4, slower peristalsis. Now, peristalsis is the word for food moving through your entire digestive system, absorbing nutrients, eliminating waste products. And this whole system slows down. So your patient is often going to be at risk for constipation, for nutrient deficiencies, things like that. Actually, production of saliva tends to decrease as we age. And your patient will probably feel fuller longer, so smaller, less frequent meals. So 2 is not correct. And less efficient nutrient absorption is more common to be seen. All right, Claw came in first, followed by Russ, Ash, Ava, and Maddie. All right, number 8. Which of the following can make elderly residents more sensitive to cold? 1. Decreased fluid intake. 2. Increased sweating. 3. Hyperactive thyroid function. Or 4. Decreased fat layer under the skin. So which of the following can make elderly residents more sensitive to cold? And remember, most of our facilities stay pretty cold. 1. Decreased fluid intake. 2. Increased sweating. 3. Hyperactive thyroid function. Or 4. Decreased fat layer under the skin. What do we think? You've got about 10 seconds left. Go ahead and lock in your final answer. And if you don't know this, you need to go watch my classroom lesson for class 4. Yeah, decreased fat layer under the skin. As we age, that layer of fat starts to break down. It gets resorbed by the body, and you end up with basically skin over what looks like bone and blood vessels. Well, that fat layer actually helps hold in body heat and block out external temperatures. So when we lose that layer of fat, your patients can feel cold much more acutely. And since most of our facilities tend to stay on the cooler side, this means your patient may feel cold even when you're very, very comfortable. So please keep that in mind and make sure your patients are dressed appropriately for their comfort, not yours. All right. Claw came in first, followed by Russ, Miles, Ava, and Shelby. Question number 9. A CNA should expect that older residents may experience which of the following? 1. Slower reaction time. 2. Improved short-term memory. 3. Sleeping longer at night. Or 4. Rapid healing from illness. So a CNA should expect that older residents may experience which of the following? 1. Slower reaction time. 2. Improved short-term memory. 3. Sleeping longer at night. Or 4. Rapid healing from illness. Go ahead and lock in your final answer. You've got about 10 seconds left. All right. The right answer here, of course, is going to be number 1, slower reaction time. Now, this is important for caregivers to know because if your patient starts to fall, they may not be able to regain their balance. And where you might be able to right yourself if you trip or if you lean too far to one side, your patient may not be able to recover. If they touch something hot where you would pull your hand back right away because of your reflex, their hand may be slower to move, which puts them at increased risk for burns and other injuries. So it's important that we understand slower reaction time increases the risk of injury in our older patients, and it's up to us to ensure safety. Now stick around to the very end of this game show. I've got something I need to talk to you about with safety in mind. So Ronald came in first, followed by Claw, Ash, Ava, and Russ. Question number 10. What can help meet a resident's need for independence? 1. Restricting choices to reduce confusion. 2. Encouraging them to do tasks they're capable of. 3. Completing all tasks quickly. Or 4. Limiting social interaction. So what can help meet the resident's need for independence? 1. Restricting choices to reduce confusion. 2. Encouraging them to do tasks they're capable of. 3. Completing all tasks quickly. Or 4. Limiting social interaction. Go ahead and lock in your final answer. Yep, you've got about 5 seconds left. And the right answer here is number 2. Encouraging them to do tasks that they're capable of. So you're not going to brush everybody's teeth. If they can brush their own teeth, let them brush their own teeth. You're not going to help everybody in the bathroom. If they can take care of their own private toileting needs privately, then they're going to do that. We're going to help patients with things that they cannot do themselves. And this helps reinforce their need of independence. Now, number 1 I want to talk about, though, restricting choices to reduce confusion. This is a strategy that we actually use with dementia patients, but nothing in that question pointed to dementia. So if you know that, please make sure you review those questions to make sure you're not adding something in that doesn't actually belong. So Claude came in first, followed by Russ, Ava, Ash, and Shelby. Number 11, why is routine especially important for older adults in long-term care? 1, it helps the staff stay on schedule. 2, it shortens their day. 3, it avoids the need for care plans. Or 4, it provides stability and reduces anxiety. So why is routine especially important for older adults in long-term care? 1, it helps the staff stay on schedule. 2, it shortens their day. 3, it avoids the need for care plans. Or 4, it provides stability and reduces anxiety. 10 seconds left. Go ahead and lock in your final answer. The right answer here is it provides stability and reduces anxiety. Routine is so important when we're working with older adults, especially in long-term care. And it's really important that we try to limit or restrict the interruptions in routine. It really doesn't have anything to do with us being able to stay on schedule. It does help with that, but that's not why we're doing it. Just try to interrupt or try to limit interruptions when you're working with long-term care. All right, so we're going to move on. We've only got 4 questions left, guys. All right, question number 12. Oh, I'm sorry. Russ came in first, followed by Ava, Claw, Ash, and Miles. Question number 12. When providing care, how should a CNA approach residents' cultural and spiritual beliefs? 1, tell them to follow facility rules only. 2, offer your own beliefs as a guide. 3, assume all residents follow the same religion. Or 4, respect and support their beliefs whenever possible. So when providing care, how should a CNA approach a resident's cultural and spiritual beliefs? 1, tell them to follow facility rules only. 2, offer your own beliefs as a guide. 3, assume all residents follow the same religion. Or 4, respect and support their beliefs whenever possible. And this is important because as we age, spirituality often becomes a very important part of our daily routine. So we need to know how to handle this. You guys all got this one right. You did great. Yeah, we're going to respect and support their beliefs whenever possible. If there's a religious gathering at the facility that they want to participate in, we're going to help them there. If you're in a home care setting and they want to attend a religious service, you're going to make that possible for them. So respecting and supporting their beliefs whenever possible is a huge part of helping a patient. And something that I say in class all the time is help isn't help if it doesn't help. And if we are there to help facilitate the physical, the cognitive, and the psychosocial needs of the patients being met, helping them with their religious and spiritual ideology is going to be a very important part of that. Ash came in first, followed by Russ, Maddie, Miles, and Ava. Number 13. Which is a common accommodation required due to changes in aging? 1, more frequent bathroom breaks. 2, larger meals. 3, lighter, thinner, cooler clothing. Or 4, less frequent infections. So we have to think about the physical changes of aging. So 1, more frequent bathroom breaks. 2, larger meals. 3, lighter, thinner, cooler clothing. Or 4, less frequent infections. So how do we accommodate changes in aging? Got about 5 seconds left. Go ahead and lock in your final answer. More frequent bathroom breaks. Sure, because the muscle tone of the bladder is affected as we age, and we end up with incomplete emptying. The valve at the base of the bladder loses tone, so it's not able to hold as much, and we often have some nervous system impairment as well, which affects how well the bladder can talk to the brain. So all of that combines to make the patients feel like they have to use the restroom more frequently. This can be frustrating for caregivers. If you're used to holding your urine for 8-10 hours at a time and your patient has to go every hour, this can get very frustrating. But understand, this is a very normal sign of aging. So Claw came in first, followed by Ash, Russ, Ava, and Maddie. Okay, number 14. Decreases in lung capacity and cardiac output during aging may result in 1, better appetite, 2, stronger diaphragm muscles, 3, decreased endurance, or 4, better exercise tolerance. Decreases in lung capacity and cardiac output during aging may result in 1, better appetite, 2, stronger diaphragm muscles, 3, decreased endurance, or 4, better exercise tolerance. Go ahead and lock in your final answers. You've got about 10 seconds left. All right. How does decreased lung capacity and cardiac output affect our patients? Yeah, it ends up giving them decreased endurance. It reduces their endurance, their ability to complete tasks without rest periods. And it's important that we understand that, because you, as a younger person, you're going to have endurance. And a lot of times, even simple tasks can take your patients a lot longer than you would expect. And this can cause a lot of frustration with staff members. It can cause staff members to get very short with our patients and try to force them to complete tasks a little bit quicker. Understand that they may not have the physical capability of doing that, so frequent rest periods might be indicated. So Russ came in first, followed by Ash, Miles, Ava, and Jasmine. Last question. Which is not a common emotional reaction to moving into long-term care? 1, fear, sadness, and anxiety. 2, excitement for new adventures. 3, frustration over changes in health. Or 4, depression over loss of autonomy. So pay attention to the question. What is not a common reaction to moving into long-term care? 1, fear, sadness, and anxiety. 2, excitement for new adventures. 3, frustration over changes in health. Or 4, depression over loss of autonomy. Go ahead and lock in your final question or answer. You've got about 5 seconds left. Now, this question's a little bit tricky, and you will have one or two of these on the state exam. Yeah, number 2 is the correct answer because fear, sadness, and anxiety, frustration over changes in health, and depression over loss of autonomy are common reactions when a resident has to move into long-term care. Excitement for new adventures, not as common. Most people aren't really excited about moving into long-term care. So remember that the question, you have to read the question very, very closely. It says, which of the following is not a common reaction? So that means 3 of these are common reactions. Which one isn't? And you will have on the state exam 1 or 2 questions that are phrased like this, and they can be a little bit tricky, so don't speed through them as you're answering. So Russ came in first on that one, followed by Ava, Maddie, Shelby, and Jasmine. So let's look at the final scores. Ash came in first. So Ash is going to get a t-shirt, followed by Russ for the card game, and Claw for some motivational gifts and the badge holder. So second place is getting the card game, and third place is going to get some motivational gifts and the badge holder. So first place will get the t-shirt. Please remember that we only ship out to the United States. So what you're going to do, let me go here. What you're going to do to claim your prizes is you're going to send an email to foryourcna@gmail.com. So the number 4, yourcna@gmail.com. First place is going to tell us which t-shirt you want and the size of t-shirt you want. Second place and third place, your gifts are already set. You're going to give me your screen name, your real name, and your mailing address, as well as what place you came in. And we will send out your gifts this week. So we ship out pretty quickly. All right, so let me tell you guys. So yeah, congratulations to all of you. You did a great job. So let me tell you guys really quickly something that came up in the news today, actually, and it is very, very relevant to us. So there is a CNA in Baton Rouge who is being charged with negligent homicide. So this isn't a manslaughter charge. This isn't a charge where I made a mistake and somebody died. This is negligent homicide. And it has to do with using a mechanical lift, like a Hoyer lift. So this person, we don't have any other information other than what I'm going to tell you. I looked and looked and looked at all of the different news articles. There's no real information here other than there was a Hoyer lift that was used. The patient fell, hit their head, and died as a result of that injury. There's no information on whether a second caregiver was there, whether the sling was compromised in some way, whether emergency aid was rendered. We have no further information as to why this would be a negligent homicide charge. And this happened way back in 2022, but this individual was just charged, I believe, this week. So it's very, very important that we understand that what we do can have very significant legal consequences. So when you're out there working in your practice, I want you to remember that you must adhere to your facility's policies and procedures, even if they don't make sense to you or you don't have the staff to do that. So if this was a staffing issue, where the CNA there wasn't a second caregiver, because most of our policies and procedures are going to tell us that we need a second caregiver if we're using a mechanical lift. So if there was no second caregiver available, that CNA should not have done this on their own. This person is being charged. They've been charged. They've been indicted. Now, I don't have any more information, so I don't know whether this was, whether there were some extenuating circumstances. I've got some ideas in the back of my head as to why this may have happened, but I don't really want to speculate. I'll be watching this pretty closely and bringing you updates as I learn more. But please remember that there are legal consequences to your practice. So you have to adhere to the principles that I teach in class, because they're there to keep the patient safe, but also to protect you, as well as your policies and procedures in your facility. That's the only thing that's covering you. The other possibility is that maybe there was no order for a mechanical lift and the CNA took it upon themselves to use one. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities there that would escalate this to a negligent homicide charge. But this wasn't the only one. Last week, there was a nursing student way back in, I believe it was 2022 or 2023, in Florida, that helped a patient from a chair back to bed, or from bed to a chair. I'm not sure which way they were going, but this nursing student was not assigned to that patient, had no idea what the care plan was, what the level of ability of the patient was. The patient just asked to be moved, and the nursing student moved them. The patient fell, and again, there was a very negative outcome there, and there was a settlement in that case, and the hospital did settle with the family for an undisclosed amount of money, and now the hospital is going after the nursing school to pay that fine, or that settlement. So remember that the care plan is so important. That care plan is what protects us. So you might be on the chopping block if you aren't following your care plan. These are two very real world examples of why following the care plan and the policy and procedure is the only thing that's standing between you and legal ramifications. So I hope you guys enjoyed this today. And remember that we are going to have over 1,000 practice test questions just like these on our website sometime this year. So you will be able to go in and take practice tests and prepare for the test, the written test state exam. And we're going to offer that to you. So I hope that, thank you guys. See, I would have to get used to foreign agencies' laws. It's a bit different on our archipelago with healthcare rules. We were taught U.S. laws, but follow British for some reason. That's interesting, Kaizori. Very interesting. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and log off for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another episode of our CNA practice test game show, and I hope to see you again for our next one in 2 weeks. We start classes again on Monday, so if any of these rules that we talked about, any of these changes in aging, you're not familiar with, go watch our live stream. It's free. Anybody can watch it on flcnatraining.com. There's no login required. You can catch us here on YouTube as well. We stream right here as well. But those live streams, you can actually ask questions. You can interact with other people. They are truly live. You can watch the replays as well, but they are there to give you all of the information necessary to be the very best caregiver that you can be. And we hope you'll join us for class that starts on Monday. Until next time, happy caregiving. Bye.